If the allegations of abusing his grandson are true, it would break the pattern, though, of using the Second Mile charity to prey on little boys, right?
That's really what the pattern is right now. He's going after these underprivileged kids that are underneath his care in a way. He took them on trips. He was able to have them in a private setting, and it would break that pattern of going after the most underprivileged kids. To have these kids actually in his house, this would break the pattern.
You know, Masa, the allegations of abusing the grandson are really pretty chilling. But when you consider what Mike just said, of using the charity as a conduit to grooming, as pedophiles often do, young boys, what about the liability of this charity, which has assets of $9 million?
They can absolutely be held civilly liable, which is why they're talking about dismantling the charity, and why, as you mentioned, the victims' attorneys are trying to make sure that the assets are going to be there for damages if they do end up being successful in the civil lawsuit. But the theory would be negligent supervision of Sandusky. This charity knew that 10 years ago he was showering with little boys, and yet they let him go on these one-on-one trips alone, Greg.
You know, Mike, our people are on the ground for the better part of the last 10 days doing a 1-hour documentary that just aired, and they tell us, look, everybody knew what was going on. I mean, it does really sound like a conspiracy to cover up to protect the football program.
That looks like what the case is. And now there's even more ammunition coming out against Joe Paterno, saying that from the very get-go, 10, 15 years ago, he's had a pattern of sort of stymieing any sort of investigation into his players and now into his coaching staff. And that seems to be the pattern. That's coming out more.
You know, and
more.
Rachel, Paterno's not out of the woods yet. No. I mean, if evidence surfaces, it's uncovered in the near future with other witnesses, that what he told the grand jury was really softballing the whole thing, and he didn't tell them the truth, he could be charged criminally.
Absolutely. You could be charged with perjury for lying. You could be charged with obstruction of governmental administration, interfering with the investigation. There's a variety of things he could be charged with. And it's clear that at the very least, there was some quiet that was kept here in order to keep raising funds and keep their football program going.
Masa, Sandusky's best defense: go after Mike McQueary. His emails are inconsistent with what he told the grand jury, and if you disbelieve part of McQueary's story, you can disregard all of it.
Exactly, and that's a common charge that's given to juries. Exactly. So I think the most powerful evidence against Sandusky is that 2002 shower incident that was eyewitnessed by McQueary, and the defense is already trying to attack his credibility, saying, look, he saw a child getting raped, he never called 911, and then he continued to socialize with Sandusky, a child rapist. Does that make sense? That's what they're going to say.
All right, Masa Saidi Azkoy, Mike Bako, thanks for being with us, and Rachel Kugel, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you all. As bloody protests